Hey everybody, Some Gadget Guy here with another FFC vlog. These are the video blogs we use to test the front-facing cameras, FFC, on the various phones and laptops and tablets that we get to review here on Some Gadget Guy. And today we are checking out the front-facing camera quality on the LG G Flex 2. But we're not actually going to be talking about phones in this vlog because I want to spend just a second talking about marketing, specifically smartwatch marketing. Now recently we've been seeing commercials go up for the Apple Watch and Android Wear. As a quick aside, I can't for the life of me understand why Google waited until Apple was already broadcasting ads for the Apple Watch before they started making a big marketing push for Android Wear, given that they had a pretty significant head start in the market. It just seems like a losing strategy. But with all of this commentary about the actual watch's capabilities, I wanted to focus on the advertising. Which company did a better job in introducing their new product to potential consumers? And so I hosted a poll on Google+, pitting the Apple Watch commercial against the Android Wear commercial. And I thought the results of the poll were actually pretty interesting, with 55% of the people voting in favor of the Apple Watch commercial over Google's Android Wear commercial. And if you follow the audiences on my various channels, you would know that I tend to appeal a bit more to the Android and Windows phone user bases than I do any kind of Apple fandom out there. And I got some really interesting comments that I wanted to share with you here. We've got PowerCamG42008. I have no idea how that username is supposed to be pronounced. Has to be Apple. We need more sexy Android Wear watches, as I'm wearing an LG G Watch R with a circular display. I'm not entirely sure that I completely agree with that assessment, but I do appreciate the commentary on Apple positioning their watch as more of a fashion, luxury, lifestyle product than what Google did with Android Wear. Joe Phelps, Apple is definitely advertising a watch in their ad. Not sure what Google is advertising. Dancing, teenagers. It's not clear what Android Wear is, and I completely agree with that. Jeff Chatham, I think Apple did a better job. The entire time I was watching the Android ad, I kept trying to look at the watches and never got a good idea of what they were capable of. Microsoft, Samsung, and Google all try to make their ads fun and hip, but in today's agra, where it's a lot about what the device is capable of, it's nice to actually see that in a 1-minute digest. I think the days of iPod ads with people dancing on colored backgrounds is over. At least that was for a device that just played music. This is a device that can do a lot more, and people want to see that. And I'm going to talk about that just a little bit more. And then Joe Naylor, Apple definitely advertised better. The Google commercial actually turned me off. I didn't like it, but by the end of Apple's commercial, I wanted an Apple Watch, and I don't do Apple. The silly thing is that if you show one of the new Android watches and an Apple Watch side by side, like you did in your image, then the conversation is over. Apple's looks like a toy for kids next to a sexy professional timepiece. But instead, it's people bending fingers to not my favorite music. Ah, well. And those last two comments from Jeff and Joe definitely point to something that has irked me about the way that we advertise technology, especially when we're trying to make it an emotional lifestyle-esque purchase. Jeff's comment points to something really incredible in that he's commenting on one of the most popular ad campaigns of all time, the iPod. People dancing, the colored backgrounds, they were just in silhouette. And it seems lately like we have a number of companies trying to recreate that magic, trying to recreate the impact that those original ads had. Those initial ads for the Microsoft Surface, I think, are another great example of an ad campaign being a bit tone deaf as to who the audience for that product is and what that product is capable of doing, and introducing that new product to a group of consumers who are probably going to be really skeptical about anything new. And this is yet another reason why I think the Apple Watch is probably going to double, if not triple, the smartwatch market as a whole. It doesn't even really matter if you think the device is going to be a good version of a smartwatch or even just a good gadget in general. Apple has landed a much sleeker and more sophisticated commentary on their new product line. And as I've mentioned about Apple in previous videos, they are becoming less a gadget and technology company and more a lifestyle brand. Which means an accessory like a smartwatch coming from Apple is going to be given a lot more market credibility at launch than anything Google or Samsung or Pebble or Qualcomm or Martian are able to do or able to replicate with their own product launches. Not only do Apple products transcend geek scrutiny over what they are capable of or whether or not it's a good bang for buck, they also have a much better grasp on advertising to their consumer base. I just thought the results of that poll were kind of interesting, especially as I make a good chunk of my living still in commercial voiceover and working on commercial campaigns and advertising. And I just wanted to share those results with you. I suppose you could still go vote on that poll. That poll's still up on my Google Plus profile. Or if you just want to drop some comments to other people that are commenting on that poll, get into some fun conversations on marketing and branding as opposed opposed to always just talking about the gadgets themselves. And speaking of polls, I actually have another poll posted on Google Plus and somegadgetguy.com where I need a little help from you folks out there, my viewing community, my viewing audience, in how I'm going to go about crafting a smartphone camera comparison between the LG G Flex 2 and the iPhone 6. I've been trying to do a few more just video grudge matches. I did one between the Lumia 1520 and the Galaxy Note 4, and I just recently posted one with the LG G Flex 2 against the Lumia 930/Icon, and I want to get into a few more of these where I can post simple comparisons between two different cameras and let you all decide which one you thought produced the better video, shooting the highest possible quality. So if you can head over, maybe vote on that poll, give me a little advice on what you think will produce the best camera comparison to share with my audience, I would be much appreciative. And just as a reminder, this front-facing camera vlog was shot on the front-facing camera found on the LG G Flex 2, which I think the video quality is looking pretty decent considering. And definitely be on the lookout for my full camera test of the LG G Flex 2. We already have the speaker test if you want to hear samples from the rear-firing speaker found on the LG G Flex 2. And then hopefully next week I'll be getting into my full review of LG's curved smartphone before we start getting into the announcements for the LG G4. As always, folks, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you want more videos and reviews like these, and I would not be able to continue producing on this channel if you all weren't out there sharing my videos on social sites like Twitter and Facebook and Reddit and Google+. So I can't thank you enough for bringing more cool people to the party. Keep it up. Hit that thumbs up button, and I will catch you all on the next video.